Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I'm going to be welcoming a very interesting guest here. Her name is Peggy Lane O Rourke. She was an actress and a stand-in on many 90s sitcoms like Seinfeld and The King of Queens. And now she's a producer. She's producing a web series called Donna On the Go. I'm gonna have her on the show today because I remember she played the strawberry ice cream cone on the episode of The King of Queens when Patton Oswalt's character Spencer falls in love with her. They go to like an amusement park, and he falls in love with a strawberry ice cream cone. It's a woman, vendor in a suit and everything, but you never see her without it. And I'm having her on the show today as primarily because of that, but also I want to hear about Donna on the Go and stuff and some of the other things that she's doing. So, here is my interview with Peggy Lane O Rourke. Hi, Peggy.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing pretty good, thanks.
Awesome. It's such an honor. I appreciate you coming on today.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Good.
So, going back to the beginning, was acting and show business something that was on your radar early on?
Actually, yes. I was like a child model in Chicago, and I did. I started out by dancing and stuff, and there was a woman there that told my mom she thought that maybe I should be a model, and my mom took me to an agency, and I got some work. I did a couple commercials. It was enough work for the union to come after me and ask me to join. So I did. I got to join as a kid, and thank God, because it's a lot more expensive now,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you model for clothing store ads?
I did actually. I was in the Sears catalog once when I was about 10, and I did like a Sears back to school commercial, and a Snowflake commercial, and stuff. And so when you're a kid, it just, you don't know how lucky you are to get this. You realize as you get older, like, wow, man, the odds of that, When you're a kid, it's just like, okay, I guess I'm doing this today,
Yeah. Did you do plays in school?
I didn't that much in school. In high school, I really wanted to join the theater club.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps I raved too much about my theater experience, but I didn't get in. I was really crushed. But I got to do The Miracle Worker at the Ivanhoe Theater in Chicago, and that was actually a pretty big play that ran a while. And Rita Moreno was in it, and Ness Lachette had been in it. And they would bring schools to come see it.
Wow.
That was actually kind of cool. I guess that makes up for it, right?
Yeah, I love Rita Moreno.
Yeah.
She's a talented lady.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going. Man, one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
You did community theater then?
I did a little, I studied at different places in Chicago, different theater groups and stuff, but mostly equity productions and things. In Chicago, you actually have theater, people, it's not like equity waiver like a lot of theater in Los Angeles. It's, actual theater. People do, they don't drop it for an audition or because they don't have the opportunities you have here. But it's a very real theater community in Chicago.
Oh yeah, they got the Steppenwolf Theater. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I did a little time at Second City. Most people out of Chicago will try. We'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Second City. They are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very good training ground. It's very good to have that experience.
Well, any kind of improv training is good, for your resume when you're an actor.
It's very true.
Mm-hmm. So did you study acting after high school, go to college for it?
Well, I went into music. I went on the road with the band. I
Mm-hmm.
And that's my dog. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Matt. You might hear from him again. He likes to be interviewed. But yeah, I kind of that was my education. You know, I was raring to get out. I didn't even want to be in high school. I wanted to come to Los Angeles and be on one day at a time, or you know, the shows that I grew up with and stuff. And I thought I want to do that, you know. And it's just like this is holding me back. It's schooling.
Well, instead, you ended up being on, you know, brand new shows that are pretty much on the same level as, you know, One Day at a Time and all those shows.
Well, true. Yeah, I mean, it did kind of work out, yeah.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't have watched the ones that you were on when you were a kid, but it worked out.
Right, exactly. But it just seemed, and this is a testimony to those actors, that it seemed easy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You'd watch Valerie Bertinelli or something, and think, well, hell, I could do that. You know, it looks like fun, and you know, and then you realize what a hurdle it is when you come out here to get that.
Mm-hmm. What year did you move to LA?
Gosh, it was, I think, the late '80s.
Wow, late
My
80s.
dad had retired. My dad works for the post office,
Mm-hmm.
and he tried to get transferred to LA, and he couldn't. Which is the reason I went to high school and stuff in Chicago. And then, yeah, we came out here kind of toward the late '80s. And then I was still in music. I was still doing music full time. And a lot of the people that I met that were doing music were doing background work on shows.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't like a real job commitment. At that time, you could call in. Like, I could call in today to see if I could get work for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It wasn't like being a waiter or a real commitment where it was hard to get out of.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, why not? I still have my SAT card and everything. Why not do it, you know?
Yeah.
And then I got back into that, you know, because it just made more sense.
Yeah. I took my first trip to Hollywood in 1990 when I was only 6 years old. And
Oh, my gosh.
I went
Wow.
to I took my first trip in adulthood just 3 years ago, and I could not believe how different Hollywood and Vine is compared to what it was when I was 6. I was just like, oh my God, this is not you know, the Walk of Fame I remember. It's just so.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of the Bay Area where I'm from. It's just become
Ah.
so. It's just become like, you know, so like, you know. I can't describe it. It's just like more global.
Right, yes. Yeah, they feel they've cleaned it up somewhat, you know.
Yeah.
It has a huge dichotomy now from, like, the Kovac Theater or the Dolby Theater or whatever it is this year, you know, where the Oscars are, to still the very, very poor sections of town. And nothing really sums up Hollywood, I think, better than that.
Yeah. That's what I loved about it. You know, it had much more of a containment and a much more intimacy. And just now it just reminds me of the place I wanted to get out of, the Bay Area.
When I was a little kid, my family took a trip out here, like you, and I was probably about 9, and we went to Grauman's Chinese Theater then, you know, and I was ready to faint. I was, oh my God, you know, Doris Day's footprints were like, oh my God, you know, and all the women's feet are so brittle. It's like, were they just crammed into these shoes? You know, it's like nobody with like normal feet.
Yeah, I remember seeing the footprints on the Walk of Fame and not knowing a good deal of who they were. And now, like a couple of years ago, I know who everybody is now, and I see all the ones that have been put there since, you know, my last trip, you know, when I was a kid. And I was like, oh my God, there's Jim Carrey's. I remember seeing TV footage of him doing it, you know.
Right.
So awesome. Yeah.
It is pretty cool. That's a nice tradition.
Yeah, it is very much so. I have a feeling, you know, when I get my footprints, oh my God, it's going to be a pretty big footprint because I wear a size 16 shoe.
Oh, good Lord, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might need 2 squares.
Yeah. It's going to be like, you know, Sasquatch.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a big guy.
Yeah. Do you act also?
A little bit, yeah.
You I think you would be castable. Very much so. There's always roles for big guys.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I did theater when I was in high school, and I've done a little bit since then. I've been in a couple music videos. I did a movie about a year ago.
Wow.
But I've been doing stand up for 13 years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I'm one of the ones who's not known. That's why.
Right.
But I hope to be.
That's a real discipline, stand up.
Stand up is
enormous respect for that.
It's very difficult. Yeah.
It is. It really is. I did it like twice. I did it once on a dare. My band was playing a club in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And we sort of opened for this guy that was a hypnotist.
Mm-hmm.
He was just very arrogant about what he did was important, but what we did was just like top 40 and required no talent.
Yeah.
I dared him. Like, well, you do it. You run the lights, you call the songs, you keep the dance floors, you do it, and I'll do your thing,
Yeah.
Can't hypnotize people, but I could do a few minutes. And you have your whole life to come up with a couple minutes. That wasn't hard. I believe it's probably the next 5 minutes that determines if you can do it or not,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got through it. I did okay. I did better than he did, so I was quite proud of that.
So, according to IMDb, one of your first roles, you played a nurse on Hunter.
It's true, right?
Yeah, what was that like?
That was really weird. I was standing in on the show at the time, and I had bitched and moaned that there weren't any female officers on the show. There weren't, like, they would have a lot of male cops, and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was really adamant that they didn't have enough women, and they kept saying, well, you're too short, you're too little.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have anybody like that, and it doesn't look like a real cop, and who would believe you was a cop? And then we did a scene. Daryl Gates was running the LAPD at the time, and we did a scene where they had a lot of real LAPD officers come in.
Mm-hmm.
And there were women shorter than I'm 5'3", I'm not that short. There were women shorter than me that came in that day that were real officers. And I raised a thing, so they finally let me be a uniformed officer, which I wanted the experience of it,
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different thing. Hunter would shoot on location downtown LA, and you're in the costume, you got that little fake orange vest, that don't shoot me orange vest.
Yeah.
So you start filming the show, and then people look at you with such disdain, and you're like, wow, this is that whole walk a mile in someone else's shoes thing, it was very interesting. And in that particular episode, it was all that glitters, I think. I had a background cop, like a blur across the street in the scene, and then this other scene came up for a nurse. And they didn't want me to do it because they seen me as a cop. Like, I had my back to the camera with my hair up and a hat. Again, I'm across the street. No one will know that was Fred Dryer was really, really concerned about it. But I finally got to do it. But it was a whole back and forth. And are you kidding me? My whole thing about wanting, women to be represented is not going to cost me a role. And it didn't. But wow, it was nerve-wracking.
Wow. So how many episodes did you stand in on?
On Hunter, I did the last season.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wasn't there when Stephanie Kramer was, which would have made sense because I'm probably about the same height. But I came in the last season. Stephanie
Kramer's gorgeous. Oh.
Yeah, beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm. What was Fred Dryer like?
It was really cool. He would have his little girl with him from time to time, and I would get to watch her in the trailer and stuff. And she was like 10 going on 40. She was so smart. A lot of kids don't get sarcasm or anything. She was smart.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, that's
and
awesome.
It was very, very clearly his show.
Yeah.
Which it should be, you're the name out there, the whole thing, if somebody doesn't like Hunter, it's like they don't like Fred Dryer, so I respect that you care,
Mm-hmm. Did you get to meet Stephen J. Cannell?
No, never, not once.
Yeah.
Not once I was surprised because I was there, every day of the final season.
Yeah, one friend of mine who's an actress who's been on the show. She worked on a Stephen J. Cannell series, and she said he was just the greatest.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, one of his last shows too.
Mm-hmm.
She just said,
He
yeah.
sure had a great run, you know.
Oh God, every show he did was just great. Yeah, and he was severely dyslexic, and he just had a great mind.
Oh, I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, he had pretty bad dyslexia, and he overcame it and wrote all these great scripts.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah. So I remember seeing you in many episodes of Seinfeld.
Oh, that's nice.
That's my favorite sitcom, and I have the entire series.
Oh, thanks. So do I.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in the crew went out and bought the whole DVD box set when it came out, and we're like, shouldn't we get a discount or something? No.
I got a pretty good discount of it on Amazon.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
It was a Christmas
It was
gift.
a great show, man. The writing on that show was so good.
Yeah, of all the people I've interviewed that were on that show, they all tell me they don't know how anyone ever got any work done because there was just so much laughing.
There really was a lot, and Will Grace was pretty much the same way. But Seinfeld it was fascinating to be there and to. It was Seinfeld again, like Fred Dryer, but Seinfeld actually. He would go to editing. He would watch the show. There was an episode we did where Kramer was shooting golf balls into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like one of the few times that Jerry didn't have to be on set. He actually could have slept in, but no. At 6 a.m., there he was in Malibu looking through the lens and lining up a shot, looking up at,
Mm-hmm.
He worked so hard on that show.
Yeah, I mean, he worked so hard. I mean, he didn't even have time to do stand-up for a while,
Right, exactly. I mean, I've worked on a lot of different shows, and some that I won't name, where, you see the star of the show who is having a producer credit, just like go home at 2 or 3. I need this or that, and go home, and then come on set the next day, and not be happy with the rewrite. And all I could think of was like, God, Jerry would have gone to the writer's room. They would have worked till midnight, if not later, and he would have been the first guy on set to see if everything worked. I mean, wow, you went home at 2? Wow.
Well, Jerry's all about the funny,
Right, exactly.
Yeah, him and Larry David, they were both all about that. And like, I heard that if they didn't have anything that was funny, they would make them, go back and rewrite it until it was funny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, even the very first script that we would see, there'd be writer's drafts that we wouldn't see. The table read would be like the first draft, and sometimes that would go back with some network notes. So the first day of rehearsal on set, you'd see, a script that had already been worked on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it would still get better, and it was good. It was really good, and it would get even better.
Yeah.
It's great writing.
It was great. Even when Larry David left and the show became really silly, it still had great writing.
Right. Exactly. And those guys have gone on, and Dave Mandel is a showrunner on Veep now.
Yeah. They've all had huge careers after that.
Exactly.
I remember you did. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Well, that was the thing, too. Like, if you were one of the writers on Seinfeld, a lot of people thought that, and rightfully so, Jerry and Larry did a lot of the work, but, they would come up with the framework of it, and then it becomes a team where everybody works on it.
Mm-hmm. I remember that you did, like, the parking space episode, and...
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, that was a funny one. And one of my favorites, the Cigar Store Indian episode.
My mom loved that one.
Yeah.
She loved that one. Yeah.
He's making all those racist innuendos with that Indian girl and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you get the tickets? From a scalper.
Great writing. Really solid. Yeah, that was a funny one. That was great.
Are you calling me an Indian giver? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the term.
You know your shows.
Oh, there's one I came up with that it probably would have went too far if it had been on the episode. It would have been funny if they had like car trouble, and he said, maybe it's the engine. I mean the engine.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love that show. Now, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when we did the parking space, that actually happened. We were out there so long shooting that it actually started to become nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was written all as a daytime exterior. And then, things go on and they take a little longer than you think or whatever. And then they made the decision, no, this is even funnier, that these guys would be so stubborn to fight until night.
Mm-hmm.
So they get that in, and it really is. Because those guys would be that stubborn,
Yeah, so how did they do that? Did they do the on location stuff the day before and then the studio stuff, the next night, and they would show the audience what they shot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty much exactly. Yeah, they pre-shoot. Seinfeld was a Tuesday audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so Monday morning, usually around 7 a.m., we'd be out at CBS Radford, all shot in Los Angeles at CBS Radford Studios.
Yeah.
They built a New York Street after some time. We didn't have it yet in the parking space. That was a smaller section of the Radford lot. But after a while, CBS Radford and Castle Rock went. I was always told it was $1 million street that they split it. They split it on, and almost all the walk and talks that you see on Seinfeld were shot on that street. And they'd switch out the store names and the license plates, and they'd add some steam to the street.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked great,
Yeah. It did. I mean, I thought that, it was shot in New York. It looked so good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, a lot of people did. And there was a theater, right? The year that they built that street, The Single Guy was on,
Mm-hmm.
Mad About You was on, and there was another show that shot at Radford. But like that whole Thursday night lineup, there were 3 shows of people walking down that street talking,
Yeah, I can imagine. Now comes the King of Queens. You did, what, 7 episodes?
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you?
It took a while. But I finally got something, yeah.
Did you get on there the same way as Seinfeld?
I did, actually. At that time, I stood in for Leah Remini.
Oh.
And, we were there every day, and then a lot of times you'll do the part in rehearsals or run-throughs. And, every now and then, if you do a good enough job, they'll just come over and go, fine, you got it. And like, oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm. The episode that stands out for me is the one I talked about in the Facebook message where the strawberry ice cream cone. Now,
mm-hmm.
I'm getting off track here, but 4 years ago, I was in the hospital for 5 months after a car crash.
Oh, my God. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, this is the best thing that ever happened to me because I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I would be talking to all the other 400-plus people I've interviewed. I'm just so blessed.
Right.
But the last couple of weeks I was in there, I watched King of Queens on TV Land, and
mm-hmm.
I saw this episode, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so weird, so creepy. But there's something cute and charming about it at the same time, and I just fell in love with this episode.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's called Emotional Roller Coaster. And on the show, we went out to Magic Mountain to film.
Oh.
And it was like a whole day trip. They shut down the park, and we owned the park. And for me, I only got to rehearse. But we did a run-through prior to, that was a Friday show. So on Wednesday, we did a network run-through.
Mm-hmm.
And they had just, spray painted the head. And, I tried it on,
mm-hmm.
and I was sort of rehearsing in the Doug and Carrie bedroom set, that mirror they had.
Yeah.
I was trying to look at it and see, how can I express any emotion in this thing,
Mm-hmm.
And I almost passed out from the fumes of the paint. They put it on a fan just so I could breathe for the run-through. And we filmed it the next day. I went to a whole bunch of fittings for this cone thing, and in the end, I couldn't even crosswalk. We were both supposed to walk along, but when the director, Rob Schiller, saw that I walked like Charlie Chaplin. It was the only way I could move. And he's like, well, I can't do that, so let's just stand there and do it.
Oh my God, was it hot in there?
It was very hot, yeah. And the wardrobe people they were wonderful. Like when you cut, if you weren't going again, if they were moving on, they'd come and help me get out of the thing. It was on the ground, and they would take the little head off and the cone off.
Did you wear it? Did you have to wear it during rehearsals?
Well, we only really rehearsed on stage, and then we didn't actually rehearse until we got to Magic Mountain. So yeah, I wanted to rehearse in it because the first scene where they meet and like I reach into the ice cream thing to get in the ice cream, I couldn't see. Couldn't see out of the thing, and like now I have to hand him a very specific prop. And so the prop guys, where they put in little apple boxes in there, so all I had to do was reach in there, I could find it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what did you think when you were given this script and you read what you had to do?
I kept really worrying about how can I make this funny, because it's kind of creepy,
Yeah.
And you still kind of want to make it sweet. And is there anything I can do that would sort of help? So I was trying, like, with body language, just to lean in, or, like, do the little head tilt, maybe, or the little hand thing at the end, like, I'll go on, or something that would have some emotion to help, to help Spence, to help Patton.
Yeah. The whole time I'm watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, what's going to happen? Is this a dream he's having?
Right.
Or is she going to take off the costume and she's going to be fat and ugly, or a man or something?
Right. I know a lot of people thought that, and they sort of built that in with the chocolate cone, that, like, he was a guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't really know, because you don't see, you don't see these people without the little costumes, so you don't really know.
Yeah. But no, it's such a sweet B story for that episode. I personally would never fall in love with a strawberry ice cream cone unless she had a belly button.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's so funny, though, because Camp Queens on social media, like on their Twitter and their Instagram, every now and then they'll post a picture from that. They posted one on Valentine's Day. And I get such a kick out of it. And then I posted something on it, that this is me or whatever. And then Patton came along and said, you're not supposed to tell anyone. And people always comment that they always wondered, who was in there. Was it a guy? Was it a girl? No one knew.
Yeah. I'm sure he gets asked about that episode a lot.
Yeah, he said he did. I saw him like last year.
Mm-hmm.
At a TV Academy event for his Netflix special. And yeah, he gets asked about that one all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, wow, huh?
Do you remember in the 80s, the band Wang Chung did that song Dance Hall Days?
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah, they did that video, and his suitcase runs off after him at the end of the video. And I think that was like a really short girl in that suitcase.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. I always loved that part of the video when I was a little kid.
I remember that now, yeah. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Funny thing is, they did two versions of the video. That's the most famous one, and then they did another one that was only released in England, but they're both on YouTube, and the one that no one saw actually has more views because no one saw it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, well, you'd rather see the one, what didn't they show me,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, I'll probably look for that.
Yeah, I would check it out. It's not that, it's not as good as the classic video we know, but it's still good to look at.
Right.
So what made you give up acting and standing in and going into producing?
Well, it's still kind of doing both. Honest to God, it was the merger of the unions. I saw the merger of SAG and AFTRA coming.
Right.
A long time before it did. And I had concerns that, SAG to me was always like the Neiman Marcus, and AFTRA at times was like more like Walmart. And I kept thinking, well, what would happen if Neiman Marcus merged with Walmart? Well, you know what happened. You know?
Yeah.
Is anyone going to be able to make a living as an actor anymore? You know, because thank God all those shows that I got to be on, you know, they had full residuals.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if a Seinfeld that I was in still plays, I still get a little residual out of that. And I've made my pension and health every year with those residuals in addition to my earnings. I wouldn't have made it without that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you merge the two unions, then what happens, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, I think it might be time to redefine myself and start, you know, I worked on short films and things. Never made any money from any of these. It's just this way of redefining myself for what I saw as an uncertain future.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started the show, Donna On the Go, with my friend Donna, who uses a wheelchair or walker and stuff. And people have really been responding to it. So, you know, I'm not appearing in it because I'm doing it. Like, I'm filming it, I'm editing it, I'm promoting it. And it's just like, that's the one thing that I can't do everything. So, you know.
Yeah.
I still act, I still have my agents, you know, still auditioning, and, you know, I'm not giving it up, but I just, you know, finally I want to have, like, a fallback or something, or to be in a position to create roles for myself.
Yeah. I saw a video earlier today where you and Donna were interviewed at this expo recently, and yeah, I didn't know too much about Donna On the Go, and I think that's just awesome that that you two have created this show for her. Is she somebody you've known for a long time?
No, we've only known her like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But like just in, you know, in helping her get around and stuff. Like both my parents, as they got older, needed assistance with a walker or wheelchair or something. But Donna is much younger, and she needs a lot of help getting around, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't help but feel for that, you know, when you see how hard it is to get in and out of a car or something. And we just thought there were some things that happened that were just funny.
Right.
You know, we were walking around at Target one day just shopping and stuff. She tried to get on that scooter, and she's very little, and for her to sit all the way back on the scooter, then her arms couldn't reach. If she sat up, then the scooter didn't know someone was on it. But it was funny. We were like crying, laughing, and I filmed it. And I looked at it later, and I thought, oh my God, this could maybe be a show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I just think that's awesome. You know, I mean, I'm pretty. I mean, I was born disabled, but I'm pretty disabled after my accident. I got metal in my leg. I broke my leg in 7 places.
Oh boy. Do you
Yeah.
use anything? Do you use a walker or a cane or anything? Are you able to get around?
I use a 4-prong, a cane, but I can't run ever again. You know, the bar in my leg just prevents me from doing it, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I got the worst of the injuries. I had a mild heart attack. I had my sternum crushed. I had my hand fractured. Just a lot of stuff happened, and
Wow.
I woke up from the coma on my mom's birthday.
Oh my God.
And
that is no accident. You know?
Yeah, it was 4-year anniversary last week on my mom's birthday, and
Wow.
it was just a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, and Donna says, like, similar things. You know, just life throws people a lot of curves along the way. You know, there's all kinds of stories of famous people, like Doris Day was going to be a dancer.
Right.
She was in a car accident when some kids tried to outrun a train, and the car was hit by a train, and she was in the hospital. But guess what? She became a legendary singer and movie star. So, you know, you work with what you've got, and you can always make contributions in another way than you thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she hasn't worked in like 40 years, but yet she's still alive. She outlived her son Terry Melcher.
I know.
It's amazing.
And every year on her birthday, I think her birthday is April. No, I can't remember her birthday. But every year around her birthday, it's Carmel,
Oh.
where she has the hotel. And I keep getting emails for it and stuff. I always wanted to go, too. So, like, all our friends gather and stuff, and it's very sweet.
You should go before she passes.
I know, right? I know. I have friends that know her.
Mm-hmm.
They're through actors and other stray animals, and I always thought about, should I make the trip? You know, it's usually in pilot season when you're working. It's like, you know, I would like to, you know?
Yeah, I definitely would. I mean, she's like, you know, one of the last of the golden era of actresses.
Exactly.
And stuff.
Very much so. I mean, I grew up on those movies. I just love those movies, you know?
Oh, yeah, the ones she did with James Gardner.
Right, exactly. Those were great movies, you know? Or the Rock Hudson comedies, and
Mm-hmm.
they're good movies.
Yeah, they're really funny. And Norman Jewison directed some of them.
That's right.
That was before he started doing dramatic stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So
it was interesting at the time, because, I mean, those were in the 60s.
Yeah.
You know, but here she was, this independent, unmarried woman, working, a career woman, you know, and then it sort of feels like movies actually took a back step from that for a long time. You know, I mean, here you are in the 60s having that, you know?
Yeah. So, do you find that doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff and creating content is a little less stressful?
Oh, it's way more stressful. Way more stressful. Yeah, this producing stuff is like, it's not for the faint of heart, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you work on when you're blessed enough to work on a big show like Seinfeld or King of Queens or something, when you're an actor, I mean, you come in, you do your bit for the day, and you're done. You know, you don't spend 5 months editing it and promoting it and hoping everybody shows up and did the insurance go through? Does the union know that I had the insurance? Or, okay. There's just so much to worry about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little more stressful. But at the end of it, you know, when you look at it and you think, wow, you know, we really pulled this off. I made 12 episodes of this thing, and people really seem to like it. And there's just a different feeling. I mean, you're like, the pride that you have in that you pulled it off, you did it. You know, it's very different than, you know, you went in for a day or two and did a part and it came out nice and,
yeah,
you know.
And you got paid.
Yeah, that's, yeah, and that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's different because, you know, they have camera crew, they have editors, they have producers, they have payroll, they have publicity. Like, I know those things here, you know?
Yeah. I'm working on doing my own, like, late night horror show, and
Oh, wow.
me and my friends, we're going to get together and film a pilot in May in San Francisco.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I finally got some people involved that are on the same page as me, and we're gonna go film it. I was actually just looking right now. There's this website called peerspace.com where you can rent these spaces up in the Bay Area or anywhere in California for, you know, like $50-$60 an hour, you know.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but you're gonna rent, you know, a space for a couple hours and film it and stuff. And I got this one friend of mine who's a horror writer up in Santa Rosa. She's been on the podcast a couple times, and she's going to be my first guest. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's really good. I don't know of anyone doing that kind of show.
I've been wanting to do a horror show my whole life because I used to watch horror shows when I was a kid growing up, and it's a dream of mine, and I'm gonna make it happen, you know, by creating my own show first, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
What kind of films do you like?
I love horror. I love comedy, science fiction. Occasionally, I like a good melodrama. I like pretty much everything.
Yeah.
You know. How about you?
I love horror films. Not like the real gory, not when they became like torture porn, but like Halloween and Scanners, and I love those movies so much.
Yeah. This show started out as horror and science fiction themed only, and it still is, but I've just expanded into other areas and talked to people who have been in the world of teen sex comedy movies from the 80s, or television, or occasionally I have a sex expert come on the show.
Oh, wow.
And just talk about stuff, just stuff that interests me, you know. And horror is like my field. I'm going to be going to Monsterpalooza in April.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I go every year.
Very cool.
Yeah, I love going to the horror cons and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, they're expensive with the autographs you buy, but they're well worth it, you know. And
well, that's cool. I would totally watch the show.
Oh, thank you.
I would totally watch that.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, there's nobody doing that show.
Well, there are people doing horror shows, but they're mostly on the internet, or they're on channels that they're on like these channels you never heard of, you know?
Yeah, I know exactly right.
Yeah, I've interviewed a lot of horror hosts. There's this one who's based in Boston. Her name is Penny Dreadful the 13th, and she has a very inspiring story. In 2005. She started her own show on cable access in Boston, got a friend together, they got costumes, they built their own set, did it all, and within months, it was syndicated throughout the entire Boston seaboard.
Oh my God.
It spread to Chicago, Ohio, just like Midwest areas, and it's still successful, but now it's on the internet since cable access has gone away, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that was very inspiring to me.
That's wonderful. Wow. I mean, really, you know, it's a big hurdle to get anything new going. You know that. I mean. Oh,
yeah. But, 14 years ago when she started, it was, a little bit easier because, the internet hadn't become what it is now with putting your own content on the internet.
Right.
And cable access was on its way out at the time. So she got to do it right at the end. And I had actually thought about doing a cable access show 15 years ago, but I just did not have the confidence to do it. Yeah. But now I do.
Probably the right time.
It's very much the right time, and I'm getting older, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm just so lucky with what I've got.
Yeah, let me know when you get that going. I'll check it out.
I absolutely will. Do you have any upcoming projects that you can talk about or plug?
Well, other than Donna On the Go, I did a short film called Anne Frank Meets God. And that's going through the film circuit now. We were at Louisville International Film Festival. We won Best Short and Audience Favorite. And we're, it's a whole thing with film festivals. There's so many of them.
Oh.
And just trying to get in them is a hurdle, and so that's the process for that one.
Yeah, I did press for a horror film festival in Santa Rosa last year, and I enjoyed it so much. I wish I could have done the whole weekend, but I was only able to do one night, and I was just having so much fun. And I want to try to do more festivals to cover and stuff, but up here in Reading, it's not geographically possible,
Right.
And plus, I have to make a weekend out of it and stuff. But
right, exactly.
I will.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I will in the future. Go ahead.
Right. There's film festivals everywhere. I mean, if you go on Without a Box, or there's different sites for them. There's hundreds of thousands of film festivals everywhere. Small towns, and there's probably something up that way.
Yeah, I mean, we're planning. Me and my mom were planning LA moves at some point this year.
Oh wow, very cool.
Yeah, and so I'll be able to participate in all the festivals and conventions out there, and
very nice. You'll like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. And
yeah.
I mean, I love going to Monsterpalooza every year, but there's so much other stuff I want to explore, you know?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff. Boy, you get down here, you'll have no limit of people to interview.
Yeah. But my trip in April is going to be fun. I'll be there 5 days.
Oh, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. There's so much to do here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I've been trying to move there since high school, but life got in the way, you know?
Yeah, I do know. I know it very well.
Well, Peggy, thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, good. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's very sweet.
Oh, yes. I'd love to have you back on so we could talk about horror.
Anytime. Oh, I'd love it. I love horror films.
Yes. We'll do that. We'll do that soon.
Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tommy.
Yes, and you have yourself a great day.
Well, thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Peggy Lane O Rourke. Ain't she a sweetheart? Yes, she is. Thank you so much, Peggy. You're very nice, very humble, and I'll have you back on again, and we could talk about horror. That would be awesome. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes!